As I always say to Miriam, I'm boring. I really don't. I hate to say this, but I couldn't come up with one beyond the fact that I typically, over a multi-day stay, collect wine glasses that I bring up from the bar every evening. But
Yeah, I'm a bit of a hoarder myself. If there's a bottle of water or a sneaky snack or something for me to grab, I will start stashing it in my room. Always an extra sandwich with me.
Welcome to Connections with BCD Travel, an ongoing conversation about the modern-day travel program, the impact of technology and digitization, and how travel buyers can take control and drive change. Each episode leaves you with practical, actionable advice and solutions to support a variety of program needs. Let's start connecting.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Connections with BCD Travel. My name is Chad Lemon, and I'm your host for the Connections podcast. I work in digital strategy and advancement at BCD, and I am joined by my lovely co-host,
Miriam. Hello, everyone. I lead partnerships in the intelligence team at BCD. And if you haven't already done so, be sure to like, subscribe, follow, and download the Connections with BCD Travel podcast to stay up to date with our newest releases.
Miriam. Before we jump into this episode, I wanted to briefly make sure that our listeners know that many of the topics we are discussing on the podcast come out of the research reports that you and your team publish. So I want to give you all a quick shout out and a moment to plug your research. So where can listeners go to look at all the content that your team publishes?
If you're a client of BCD Travel, you can get most of our research directly from your program manager, who will share it, or BCD Connect, which is our client portal. If you're not a client of BCD Travel, you can find it on bcdtravel.com resources. But enough about that. Let's get to today's episode, where we're connecting hotel content and talking about how making available a wide variety of content can be used as a tool to improve hotel program outcomes. I think today's episode will really get listeners to think about how their hotel strategy in their entirely new way.
Yeah, absolutely. Hotel content seems like it's an easy topic, but it can really result in massive savings for travel programs if they just approach it the right way. And as always, today's guest has an expert take on hotel content and hotel spend category strategy. So welcome to Connections, April. Tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
hey, Chad. Hey, Miriam. I'm April Bridgeman. I wear 3 hats here at BCD Travel. I lead sustainability, I lead Advito, our business travel consultancy, and I lead Hotel Solutions. Hotel Solutions is the arm where we bring solutions related to hotel category management to our clients.
Thanks for being here, April. And if you're ready, I'm excited to jump right in and get the discussion rolling.
April, let's talk about managed hotel programs. What are the goals that travel managers should be focusing on right now?
Program adoption is absolutely the primary goal that travel managers should focus on in 2023 for their hotel programs. If you don't have travelers coming to your hotel program, booking hotels through your program, you can't manage the spend category. You can't achieve new, more improved outcomes for your company. And we know in the industry, we still have challenges with program adoption. And one of those challenges is absolutely related to the hotels and rates they can find outside the program. So that needs to be another goal, is making sure that you're providing the hotel inventory, the hotel content that your travelers expect to see and want to be able to shop and book through your managed channels.
I keep hearing that your team is delivering some fantastic results. What kind of successes are you seeing?
Actually, Miriam, we're seeing some great success. I can name multiple clients, but I won't, where we have actually increased adoption by 10 points or more. But let me highlight a quick story with a client we've worked with really closely. As we've turned on additional inventory, reduced the size of their managed program, and focused on really communicating more and differently with travelers. This particular client, who is a medical device and supply manufacturer was able to increase their adoption by 10 points, going from about 58% to 68% over a period of about 6 months. And over a period of starting at around the same time, was able to reduce their average book rate overall by 5 points. And they have about $50 million of annual hotel spend. That's a $2.5 million savings. It's really dramatic. I have another great example. We work with a consumer goods manufacturer, and we're able to demonstrate that after they turned on a bunch of new content and made it available to their travelers to book, that they were actually, with that new content, able to beat their preferred rates about 25% of the time. And it also, again, even in their preferred hotels, drove down that average book rate. And I think a lot of travel managers can get worried. Well, gosh, is that going to dilute the value of my program? And no, it isn't. Absolutely not. It means that you're doing an incredibly smart thing, and you're taking advantage of the rates available on the open market.
But April, how are you all doing that? Is it really just as simple as bringing consumer rates into your program, or is it something else?
Well, we do use multiple strategies, but one of the key strategies is making broader rate inventory available. And this is the important thing, and actually making sure travelers know about it. It's one of the most effective ways that you can achieve higher adoption and lower spend, without, believe it or not, an incredible level of effort. It's actually, as clients do this, right? They make all sorts of inventory available. They talk it up to their travelers. Their travelers start to see the value of it. It
sounds like it's ensuring that you're offering the same thing that travelers see online, but just in the approved booking channels they have today with their corporate program.
Exactly. But not enough of travel managers are comfortable completely opening up all of the content they have available and all of the rate types.
Okay.
They're still not necessarily turning on highly restricted, non-refundable rates. They might not be comfortable making Booking.com and Expedia available, even because they're really concerned that those rates don't offer the types of loyalty benefits that the negotiated rates and other rates that come through traditional GDS channels can offer. And interestingly, when we dig down into the data on that point particularly, just recently we looked at the last rolling 12 months of booking data, and we found that 74% of travelers across, about 125 of BCD's clients have less than 9 room nights booked in that last rolling 12 months. So they don't even qualify for status in corporate loyalty programs, or I should say hotel loyalty programs. And so, making a decision not to offer that content when it's clearly labeled as different. So meaning a traveler will go in, they'll see a rate coming from Booking.com. It will say loyalty program benefits may not be available. They still may want to make that conscious choice because those loyalty program benefits might not be important to them. And it might save you $20, $25 a room night along the way across a high percentage of your traveler population to give them that choice. And so, the most important, takeaway there is to think about at least trying to make that content available, communicating with your travelers that it's out there and, when they may want to use it and when they may not, and see how it goes.
Okay, but for travel managers that are already incorporating some of those rates that you just described, should they be focusing on other areas, or what should they be focusing on?
I really think they need to make sure that their travelers know it's there and that the travelers understand the value that they as travel buyers, as travel managers, are bringing through the corporate travel program. Give them reasons, help them understand why they should be booking through managed channels than than going outside. And, maybe I'm naive, but I still think most travelers do want to do the right thing. And if you explain to them what the right thing is and why it's the right thing, they're going to be more likely to do it. And that communication can often be the link between, step A, which is bringing more value to travelers through their managed channels, and step B, them actually using it.
So when we're talking about communication, are we just talking about configuring online booking tools, newsletters? What do you mean here?
The best communication is to be communicating where your travelers are, especially, when they're thinking about their hotel booking, right? So you should know where your travelers are going to find information about the program. It might be some type of enterprise platform like Yammer or some capability within SharePoint or Salesforce, but it's definitely in the online booking tool. And the online booking tools that are available today, whether it's Concur, Citric, Get There, one of the many others, Circo, all have functionality that allow you to configure in pretty precise ways, very visual marketing ads. Think of it as an ad. Think about advertising to your travelers where they are making the decision whether or not to shop and book for hotels in your managed channel or to go outside. Tell them right then and there why they should do it. Put a pretty banner in that says, hey, we have content from booking.com, from Expedia. We've got Premier Inn. We've got all these, great rates that you're going to see in all these consumer channels. So why go outside? And oh, by the way, we've got all the negotiated rates that we've negotiated on behalf of the corporation. And we've got the 25,000 plus hotels that have great rates BCD negotiated. Let them know, remind them, other reasons to book in channel. And there are many. And there are also many pieces of what I'll call digital real estate where that information can go in the booking path. Whether you're going to remind them to stay in channel when they're actually booking their flight and encourage them to book the hotel, or right then and there, or at least come back to, putting a market specific message in when they go to book the hotel to say, hey, why don't you look at, these couple of properties in this market? Or why don't you consider, looking for a member loyalty rate? Yeah, you can get those through our managed channel. You don't have to go to the, chain.com website to get them. We have them too. And you don't have to give them all sorts of information at once, but you can give them little snippets of information throughout that just builds their confidence that you've built a great program and good reasons for them to use it.
April, it sounds like this really isn't scary or difficult. It's just making sure that you're working smartly to achieve your goals, and your TMC, BCD Travel, can really help push this along.
Chad, that's exactly right. You can let your TMC work for you and rethink the role of the negotiated program in your overall hotel category strategy. Instead of sourcing 1,000 properties, pick 200 or 300 where you've got the most leverage and you can negotiate great deals. But then for the rest, really lean on your TMC. I know here at BCD, we've negotiated great deals on travel managers, travel buyers' behalf. And we have greater than 10% discounts at over 25,000 properties. We've made so many other great rates available through your booking channels. If you think about it, just to name a few, we don't have just typical booking.com, typical Expedia content. We've got the booking.com Genius Level 2 rates. We've got the Expedia member only and business deals. And, that brings tens of thousands of discounts to your travelers every day. We also have those member-only deals that are available through the chain.com, the supplier.com websites. And those usually are 10% or more discounts. And those are available through your managed channels if you decide to use them, right? And I think the most important thing to think about here is that it's not a trade-off. Combining a smaller, stronger negotiated program with all of the great discounts and rates that your TMC can bring actually results in lower spend, not higher spend as you might think.
April, can you give us some examples of what technology is available right now? What digital solutions can BCD bring to the table?
Around hotel, we've got several. We have our content aggregation and normalization platform that brings all of these great rates that we were just talking about and puts them in front of your travelers. We also have hotel price assurance. We will reshop and rebook hotel bookings every time we find a lower rate. And there's some meaningful savings associated with those programs. And we've got all sorts of digital retailing, digital adoption tools available that you can use to communicate more effectively and influence traveler behavior when they're in your online booking tools. That might be a digital adoption platform like WalkMe that you use in the rest of the company that we can apply to travel. It might be something like TripKicks, which is one of our marketplace partners that also puts great information in front of travelers to help them make better decisions. And there are actually many more.
Those are all great digital solutions. But before we close out this segment, I always like to ask our guests, what are the top 3 things our listeners should be doing right now to optimize their hotel strategy?
Well, first and foremost, and I hope you will draw the same conclusion, Miriam and Chad, as you listen to this, but turn on all of those rates. Make them available.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be the first one.
You're going to drive up your traveler confidence in your program as they start to see more and more of the rates they expect to see when they're shopping for hotels. And it will drive down your cost to make those available. Absolutely talk with your program managers about the reports that we make available through Decision Source about your hotel program that will give you all sorts of insight into opportunities that you might have. And our other toolkits, we actually have a digital marketing toolkit to help you drive adoption and to help you build traveler confidence in your hotel program. All sorts of banners and social posts available at your fingertips. And maybe rethink the role of your managed hotel program. Think about the level of effort you spend that might be better spent on other things that will generate more savings and help you achieve more of those hotel-related goals.
Okay, so to recap, you want folks to turn on those rates you've been talking about, talk to their program managers about the toolkits and the marketing and the various digital solutions we have to help with adoption. And take advantage of some of those Decision Source reports so they can really understand what is going on with their hotel program. And finally, rethink their hotel program altogether.
Yeah, that's about it. Might sound daunting, but even taking small steps in each of those areas will yield, I think, in fact, we know, really strong benefits.
April, thank you for all of that great insight. But before we let you go, we like to do a quick connect segment where I ask a question and without thinking, we all blurt out our answers to decompress. So let's do it. Without naming any names or locations, what is your worst hotel experience that you've ever had while traveling for work?
Well, it's a little gross. Basically, I walked into a hotel room and was faced with a backed up sink barfing moldy water and spilling.
That was my answer.
Oh, gosh. I hope it wasn't the same hotel.
I guess that's too common, right? Uh-oh.
Well, no, I was with you. I was going to use your story.
Right?
Yeah. Well, and
what's
funny about that story is it was in the early days of us all having smartphones and social media. And I remember you took a video of it. And we were debating whether it was appropriate or not to post on the internal social media channels or even externally, right? And of course, we decided against it. We shared it with a few people, but just so we have, April had something to show customer service about what was happening. But that was going to be my story: is the sewage blasting up from your sink.
Man. It was. Definitely don't want to experience that again.
Well, your all story beats mine for sure. Mine was just a really filthy, dirty, not cleaned hotel. No, not even a hotel room. I'm not going to glorify that place. It was a roadside motel that I was forced to stay in, and it was, oh man, I think about it all the time.
Not for work, was it?
Yeah. Yes. It was in the middle of nowhere. It was the only option for like 60 miles. It was not the best moment of my life. All right. Next question. Same rules about the hotel names and location, but best or most memorable hotel experience you've had while traveling for work.
I was on a trip and walked into a property, and an individual walked up to me, knew me by name, and proceeded to give me a great overview of the property, and the welcome just set the tone for the entire stay. And I thought for some reason, maybe they looked up my title, maybe they realized I had something to do with, the hotel category for business travel. But indeed, I found out, no, that's just what they do for every customer. And
Wow.
It'll always stay with me.
So similar, I will name it. It's the Taj Krishna in, I think it was in Hyderabad. And when we pulled up and that doorman came out with the lamb chops and the incredible uniform and threw open those two front doors with his arms, and it was so grand. I had never seen anything like it. To me, that was an incredible experience. So.
Mine is, I just like you, April, I have no idea how they knew this about me, but they had found out what my favorite movies were, my favorite book, just things, snacks it was all in my room waiting for me. And it was just so appreciated. That extra step and that extra service really made my day for sure. This was such a strategic and great episode, April, and I know the value of what you shared will really go a long way with our listeners. So thank you so much.
Yeah, April, that was great. Thanks for coming and talking to us, and I hope that you can come back soon.
Well, I hope you have me. I had a lot of fun.
If you're a travel buyer, frequent business traveler, or just someone who likes to hear about hotel solutions and strategy, be sure to like, subscribe, follow, and download the Connections with BCD Travel podcast to stay up to date with our new releases and listen to your favorite episodes.
Thank you for connecting with us. BCD Travel helps customers travel smart and achieve more. We make this happen in over 100 countries with a global client retention rate of 97%, the highest in the industry. Learn more about the information you heard today and what BCD Travel can do for you by visiting bcdtravel.com/podcast.
But April, how are you all doing that? Is it really just as simple as bringing consumer rates into your program, or is it something else?